Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Now this is the final look, except I've changed the lipstick, and the reason for that is today isn't so much about the lipstick but about the brand, and particularly the owner of the brand. So yes, you've guessed it, today is about Charlotte Tilbury. Now, for those of you that have been following me for a while, you're probably sick of this story, so you can go to sleep now. Okay, but to others of you, let me just tell you why it is that I've chosen red lipstick by Charlotte Tilbury today. And by the way, this one is Love Bite, not Love Bite. No, it's not. This one is Tell Laura. And I could see Deborah screaming at the screen then saying, no, it's not, it's Tell Laura, because it's her favourite. And hi, Deborah. And it's not that one. So basically, this is Tell Laura, but I'm going to be using Screen Siren, which is a Hollywood lips. Okay. And then at the end, I'm showing you some more red lips from Charlotte Tilbury. Okay, so why red lip from Charlotte Tilbury? Well, taking you along my journey, so from yesterday after the experience in MAC, I still wasn't really that enthusiastic. I couldn't get the enthusiasm going, but I was trying to build and pull myself out of that dark hole, which if any of you have gone through that very dark time, you will understand it's not easy, but I was trying. And so I started to watch makeup videos on YouTube to see if anything would inspire me to kind of have a go at doing a certain look. And it was difficult. It was very difficult because when you're feeling that low, it's very difficult to get inspired. And then all of a sudden one day, this woman that I'd never heard of, called Charlotte Tilbury, I'd never ever heard of her, popped up onto the screen and, hello darlings, and she just pulled me in. This woman grabbed me. It was like she just grabbed me that day and said, I'm gonna give you that joie de vivre back, and you know I'm gonna well up, because it's still to this day, when I think about it, it's such a pivotal moment for me that it still makes me well up just thinking about it. And so let's see if I can carry on. If not, I'll come off. So basically, I watched a few of her videos, and as I have said before, whenever you watch Charlotte in a video, she's always talking about stealing people's DNA. So she talks about, with her Wonderglow, about how she stole a supermodel's DNA, and then in terms of her kissing lipsticks, you know, the ones, the celebrity ones. So she's always talking about stealing DNA. Well, that day I felt like I stole some of her DNA that day, because there was something about the way she talked about the products. It wasn't just about her selling products to us. It was her passion and her enthusiasm and her motivation and her keenness to get women feeling good about themselves. That pulled me in that day. And the first thing, as you also know, that when you're depressed, it's very difficult to spend money on yourself, because you don't really think that you deserve it, and you feel very guilty about spending money on yourself. And so I think the first thing I bought was her brow pencil. I think a brow kit, so it had the brow pencil and the brow mascara thing. And by the way, this is Magic Away, so you can see it's very waterproof. So that was the first thing I bought, and I really, really loved it. I realised how good quality it was, and it came so beautifully wrapped. And I was really tempted to get some more makeup from her. and I really wanted to get one of her iconic looks. But as you know, they're very expensive to buy a whole look. But it was kind of all or nothing for me. It was like, well, unless you get an iconic look, the whole thing works together as a look. It just didn't seem worth it. And then it was coming up to just before Christmas, and I won some money out of the blue, which, as some of you know, I also often attribute to my late mum, because I always seem to win something just before Christmas or just before my birthday. And I thought, I won about £140, and I thought maybe I can treat this as though it's a Christmas present from my mum. And that was my way of getting my head round this I feel too guilty to spend on myself. And I spent 2 days trying to decide. Again, you know, choices is not good either when you're depressed. Trying to make a choice between the vintage vamp or the Dolce Vita look. And eventually I got the Dolce Vita look. No, I didn't. I got the vintage vamp look. Sorry, that's because I was blubbering. It completely distracted me. And when it arrived, it felt like Christmas had come early. And I also remember I got her film star Bronze and Glow. And I sat down and I put on the makeup. I put on her YouTube video and I followed her vintage vamp tutorial all the way through. And when I got to the end, I looked in the mirror, and how do I get this out without blubbering again? I looked in the mirror and I thought, I'm back. I'm back. I felt like me had returned. Excuse me for a minute, I'll be back in a second. Okay, I've pulled myself together. And as you can see, magic away, it certainly is waterproof. I'm not sure about the foundation lasting as I've blown my nose, but the magic away is very good. So I thought, I'm back. I felt like that personality that is inside me that never changes despite whatever changes in my body was back. And when I went out in my mobility scooter, I went from feeling completely invisible to feeling like I was at the centre of a crowd, that people were noticing me. And I didn't understand why they were suddenly noticing me. And then suddenly it dawned on me, it had nothing to do with me being in a mobility scooter. The fact that I'd become invisible. It was because I felt invisible and that I was depressed that made me invisible. And the minute that I had this makeup on and I felt confident and I felt like I was back, I became noticeable. And it is all summed up in this. I didn't get the vintage vamp in this. I got it in one of her white toiletry bags. But I daren't show you those because they're really in dire need of a wash. They've got makeup and all sorts over them. So I'm showing you the burgundy version. And it came in a bag like this, which says, give a woman the right makeup and she can conquer the world. And that's how I felt. And that's how Charlotte's makeup has made me feel ever since that day. It was a turning point for me. And it was the day that I started to put on makeup. And I gradually collected her items because I wanted a wardrobe for my face. I couldn't have a wardrobe of shoes because I could no longer go and buy shoes. I couldn't, clothes were a lot more uncomfortable, either because of my swollen legs or because I was putting on weight or because of pain, and I just wanted to be comfortable. But I had a wardrobe for my face, so even though it was the same black shoes every day, I could be a golden goddess, or I could be a Dolce Vita, or I could be a bombshell. I had a wardrobe, and it just started me off on a road that has been my saviour and has really helped me through some really, really difficult times. So if Charlotte, I would so love Charlotte to see this video. If she does, or if anybody from the organisation sees it and wants to show her this, I just want to say, don't do it again, don't do it again. That's not what I want to say. I'm trying to stop myself blubbering again. I just want to say thank you, Charlotte, because you really brought me back from such a low point in my life. And I'm going to go now, and you're going to watch this makeup video because I cannot do this anymore. So I think you understand how important this brand is to me, and I hope you enjoy today's video. Okay, take care. I did say there was going to be some blubbering, didn't I? But please, no pity party. Enjoy the tutorial. Hi everyone, and let's get going with this look. Okay, so I'm going to be doing the bombshell look with a little bit of a variation, because I know that you've all seen the bombshell look, and yeah, so I'm really excited to be doing this today. And let's get going. Now, I'm not going to chat a lot through the foundation. I'll just sort of put it on and come back, because otherwise yesterday's video was way too long, because I started telling you all about spina bifida and stuff while I was putting my base on. So I'll see you in a minute. And I'm going to put on Wonderglow first of all, if I can find my Wonderglow. I've got everything here in my little heart basket. And I'll put that on, and then I will, I'll show you me starting to put it on. That's a good thing. And then I will be right back after I've put my foundation on. Okay, so see you in a minute. Okay, so now I'm going in with Magic Away. Now, I dropped something on the floor just a second ago. And it's quite delicate, and it's probably cracked the lid on this, but it doesn't matter because I keep it in its box. But one thing that I meant to tell you about Charlotte Tilbury, when you have spina bifida, it's really, really difficult to bend over for things. It's painful. Now, especially, I've got the complication of a tethered cord, which is a complication that arises out of surgery for spina bifida, and your spinal cord gets trapped in scar tissue, and it's quite complex to remove it, and my hands are too slidey to take the lid off my Magic Away. 1 second. Right, okay. So one of the good things is that a lot of Charlotte Tilbury's brushes are designed for makeup artists, and if you see that they've got this sort of hexagonal shape, so that they don't roll off the table when you're on set, which is really good for me because it means that they don't roll onto the floor and then I have to pick them up. And if Charlotte Tilbury or anybody from our organisation is watching, could you do the same with your pencils, please? Because it's such a brilliant idea, and it is so painful for me to bend down and pick things up off the floor, that it would be great if you could do the same with all your pencils. The lipsticks don't tend to fall off because they've already got that kind of, I don't know, but the shape to it. But the pencils, it would be really good. And the mascara. Right, so I'm now putting on Magic Away in shade 6, and I have to say that this concealer, I never used to use Charlotte's Retoucher for my concealer. I used it to retouch throughout the day, but I didn't really use it a lot in the morning because it just didn't give me the coverage I needed, and it wasn't waterproof when my eyes watered. But this is perfect, and I love it, and it's just so good. I've also got one in a lighter shade, which I sometimes mix, And yeah. So the good thing about this look, I mean, I'm probably going to make it look more intricate today because I like playing and showing you how to do things, but you can actually make this very, very simple. And this look is very simple to achieve if you want it to be, or if you like. Sometimes for me, sometimes I don't want it to be simple because I want it to be distracted. Sort of putting makeup on for me is a little bit like mindfulness, in that if I'm in pain it distracts me from it. So sometimes I need it to be intricate, but sometimes, like today, I'm going out and I'm a bit tired, and I am in pain, so it would be it's good to be able to make it simple, and you can make the bombshell look really, really simple and quick. So yeah, right, I've just realised I need to get my brush to put my powder on, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm going in with Airbrush Flawless Finish powder in shade 2, and you know, if you've been following me, that I'm going to be able to stick with every single Charlotte Tilbury product to do this look, because I have pretty much most of her collection. I just, after that day, I caught the bug, and I'm sure I will have just told you that in the intro, but again, I'm doing this backwards, so I won't go into too much. And then I'm just going to dab it under my eyes. And her Airbrush Flawless Finish is one that I can put under my eyes, as I can with her loose powder. I think on balance I still prefer this one in terms of setting makeup. I kind of treat the other one more like a finishing powder because it's got a bit more of a I can't use the word shimmer because it's not shimmer. It's kind of, shimmer makes you think of highlighter sparkle, and it's not that. Anyway, so that's the powder done, and then I'm going to go in with the eyes. Now this is why potentially this can be a very simple look to achieve, because it uses a colour chameleon, and anyone that thinks she's got so many Charlotte Tilbury products she can't possibly be using them, that's my Amber Haze pencil. Right, so this is really simple. I'm just gonna do this because that's creasing on my eyelids, which always happens. I'm not going to bother powdering because I'm putting this on straight away, and it's a cream, and you literally just scribble, scribble, scribble over your eyes. That's all you need to do, and then either blend in with your fingers, which I'm going to do because it's easier, or you can blend with a brush, and you can build this colour up as much as you like. I won't build it up too much because I'm going out, but do I care? No, I do not. I'm not one of these people that think, ooh, can't wear that in the day, unless it's really outlandish. So onto the other. Can you see how simple that is? So gold works really, sort of bronzy gold works really well with a red lip, obviously, because Charlotte has put this look together in terms of the bombshell look. So this is your other option if you don't want to go for a very nude eye, which is what I did yesterday. But it's still simple, it's not intricate, that's the main thing. And I'll just put a bit more on. Like so. Thing with the colour chameleons is not to go and put the lid on in the middle of it there, which I've just done. They're very soft, But you need to make sure that you put the lid on properly, because they tend to pop off and then they can dry up. I have learned since buying my first ones that I now don't discard the box. I used to for eye pencils. I don't keep boxes for everything, but I don't discard the box now, and I keep them in the box so that if the lid comes off, they're still not really exposed to air. And it protects the lid from going missing, of course. As long as you keep the lid on, they last a long time without drying up. But sometimes it's easy, even if you think you've replaced the lid, for them to kind of pop off. Kind of air gets trapped and it kind of makes it pop off. So you just have to be careful, because if the lid comes off, it's not beyond saviour, because if you can just sharpen it, but if that happens a lot, then eventually it will dry out. So you can see it makes you look like you spent ages on your makeup when you haven't. Then the next thing in the bombshell is the feline flick. Now, as you know, I have hooded eyes. This is always a little bit of a challenge, but I'll have a go. And it is just like a felt tip pen, and very easy to do. Okay, and then I'll do the other one. I'm not going all the way along for now, for a reason. And I'm not going to do too much of a flick either. Although it does look good with a flick. Let me just see how we get on. Now, the way I do it, and I'm not saying this is the right way, but it's the way that I've found easiest, is to get into that little corner where the top lid meets the lower lid. And then using that as a guide, go in there. Because if I go to the end, because I've got hooded lids and downturned, it just doesn't work. But if I go into that bit and I imagine that I'm drawing a line up to the top of my brow, you can see no one would have drawn a line there. But that tends to work for me. And it's not going to look that tidy when I open my eyes. But when I relax my eyes, it looks like a flick. Or a tick, I should say. And that's when I kind of go in and do a little bit of adjustment. And that's as far as I would take it. And again, I just go in to that little bit there, which means, can you see that I'm not actually going to the bottom of the lid, because I'm using that as my guide. If I went there, I'd end up with a droopy line, and then I draw from there as my guide up to as though I'm drawing towards the end of the brow, and then draw along, and one will always be easier than the other. And that looks a complete and utter mess. But never mind, I'm going to come back, I'll clean that up, and I'll be right back, because they don't match at all. And this is why I love my channel. I will never ever take things out when I make mistakes. It's very difficult to do a feline flick when you have hooded lids. Okay, so I'm just going to clean that up and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and it's as tidy as it's going to be. Little tip as well. So Charlotte often says to use a Q-tip with magic cream, which is what I did. The other thing is, if you get to the end and it really looks like a mess, and you've got hooded lids, because I know a lot of you watching me have, the other thing is that you can get yourself a black eyeshadow and just go over it and smudge it out with black eyeshadow. Black eyeshadow works brilliantly. Have a look back at some of my other videos. or Wayne Goss, where he's talking about how you can stamp black eyeshadow right and tuck it right under the lid. It looks beautiful when you've got hooded lids, and it's a lot easier to achieve. Okay, I put a little bit underneath and joined it up as best as I could. And now I'm going to curl my eyelashes using Charlotte's life-changing lashes. I have to say that I do prefer, I've got some ones by MAC, although I cannot locate them at the moment, which are 3/4 size, which are better for my eye shape because my eyes are quite small. They're good at getting into the end lashes. But that's just because of my eye shape being quite small. They just manage to get into the corner there. So I'm just curling my lashes. Okay, and then full fat lashes over the top. As Charlotte says, lashings and lashings of full fat lashes. I always like to do the top of them. I just think it makes them look thicker. And then off we go. And I'm doing the goldfish face, which is what you do when you put mascara on. So sorry if you can all see inside my mouth. I try not to, but it's very difficult. I'm going to come back because I really want to do a few layers. Okay, I'm back. And now I'm going to do my brows. So first of all, I'm going to use the brow lift. So using the brush first of all. And then pencil. Okay, and then I do the little pop of highlight. It's in the middle of the brow wand. And the other thing I like to use this for, because it fits perfectly, as you saw yesterday with the Estee Lauder one, is to pop it in there. Okay, and I'll do a little bit of supermodel brows as well, just to fill in any other gaps, because it's a bold lip. It's good to have your brows looking groomed. Actually, I forgot to tell you, I was going to give this a bit of a twist. So I'm going to take the new palette of Pops in Supersonic Girl, and I'm going to use this shade and just pop some over the top. And the colour chameleons really make them pop. Let me show you the difference. I'll do one eye and you can see the difference between that eye and the other. But also the fact that it's got powder on top will last even longer. Can you see? And if you want, why not? This one here, that I wouldn't use that one because it's too pink, but that one, just a slight pop in the centre. That's just because I'm playing. Alright, then I'm moving on to Film Star Bronze and Glow. So, as Charlotte says, suck in the cheeks and follow the hollow. Sorry about that noise, guys. They're actually installing a new lift in the flat. So, I've had this noise all week. Oh, what fun. And then with my shadow brush, which I haven't had to use today, I'm just going to use that to contour my nose. Like so. And then the highlighter. Bit of a pop of that as well. Now let's get on to the lips. And I'm using, of course, Kiss and Tell. And I'm going to fill in the whole lip because it will help the lip, always will help the lip stay longer. Now you'll see this looks a little bit on the pink side. And that's why it's so good to put it all over your lips, because that's the foundation that I've got on my lips underneath. So it's giving you a good base colour before you put your red lipstick on. And I am using, I'm going to show you some other red lips at the end, but today I wanted to use Screen Siren as my red lip because I just love it. It is gorgeous, isn't it? Okay, and then I'm going to have to get a move on because I am due to meet my friend. So I'm going to put some Sex on Fire, which is what goes with the Bombshell. Let me get my blush brush. Okay, Sex on Fire. Okay, I'm just going to blend that out a bit with my bronzing brush. because it's quite pigmented, this one. And then finally I'm going to go in with my bronzing brush and all over just give myself a bit of a bronze. And that is me done. And I hope you've enjoyed today's look and my reasons for wearing this red lip. Bombshell. Take care and I'll see you very soon. So that's it for today, and don't forget that if you want to donate, please click on the link to my Just Giving page below, or alternatively you can text lips 18 then £, and then the amount that you want to donate to 770. That's lips 18 £, whatever you wish to donate, to 770. And if, even more importantly, you want to show your solidarity with me, please do take a selfie and tag me in your selfie wearing a red lip.
Your photo on Instagram, please type hashtag shiny red lip and or hashtag Aliem's beauty. Looking forward to seeing your red lipstick for my mum.
And I want you all to have the confidence to wear a red lip this week. I'm really looking forward to seeing your selfies. And that to me is just as important as the donations. So thank you so much for watching this. And I will see you tomorrow with, as I've already said, but I'm repeating myself, with another amazing red lip. And now for some other red lips from Charlotte Tilbury, because you know I have a few. Okay, enjoy.